Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of It Resolves. My name is Kevin.
My name is Will. Welcome back. Thanks for listening or watching wherever you are, doing what you do on YouTube, the SoundCloud app,
SoundCloud app?
Yeah. There's an app. It's not what I meant to say. But the podcast app is the one I meant to say. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
Yes.
MySpace. Not MySpace.
Not MySpace. Still good. That's just a train wreck.
Yeah, that's about it, guys.
So welcome to the Sunday Filler Fun Day episode, the last of our Sunday Filler Fun Day episodes.
It is.
If you were not aware, we're changing up our schedule. We'll talk about that a bit later.
End of a very brief era.
Yeah, a very brief, like a 3-month era.
Not even.
If that, even, 2.5 maybe.
Yeah.
But with all of our Filler Fun Days, we always have our Kiki-Weekly instead of our random card of the day.
Oh, yes.
And this one is very timely as of Hour of Devastation.
Timely and new.
We thought we would talk about my favorite card of the new set, Fraying Sanity, which is 2 and a blue for an enchantment that basically says anytime an opponent would mill cards at the end of their turn, they mill that many cards again.
Yeah.
And so the combo here is with Traumatize, which is 3 and 2 blue for a sorcery, I believe, that states target opponent mills half their deck. And then you just mill the other half at the end of the turn.
Do you see the line?
It's pretty awesome. It's very, very easy to do, especially in like a commander format. It's just 2 cards. You just throw them out there and you're good. And I love it. It's cool to throw into basically any deck that runs blue. Not any deck, but well, it's easy to throw into
most decks, I think, because it's just, especially in commander, it's 2 card slots for an instant delete somebody.
Yeah.
Now in commander there are plenty of interrupts, plenty of counters, bounce enchantments,
absolutely.
All sorts of stuff. There's things they can do, but they might not always have it. And unanswered, that's like
you may mill it.
That's
I mean, the thing about this is like, and we were talking about this, we were thinking of places that this could slot in other than commander. And you can't be tired,
Pardon
man.
me, guys.
You can't be tired.
I'm sorry.
Prerelease knocked it out of you.
No freaking kidding.
But
my circadian rhythms.
We were talking about this, and you can slot it into like control decks, for instance, because it is only a 2-card combo. So like you don't necessarily need like a creature win condition. You can use this as your win condition. Most people aren't they're gonna have the enchantment hate as like sideboard options in say modern or something like that. They might be pushing it for modern, but maybe. And
yeah, I guess it's probably like enchantment and other things.
Yeah,
like if there's a card with enchantment, hate, and artifact, like destroy target, this.
Yeah, but I don't know that you run too many of those main board. So the thing really we were talking about is you go into it with your main board being Fraying Sanity and Traumatize. Then after sideboard, you switch out for a creature win condition after they've sided out all of their creature hate. And then on the third game, if it goes to a third game, you kind of get to mix and match and do whatever you want, and they have to account for both, which means their removal packages for each are going to be substantially decreased because they're going to have to go basically half and half, or just go all in on whichever one they think is going to be the win condition.
Yeah.
And that just sort of plays to the sideboard a little bit, which is really cool, I think. I like that idea.
And the more tournaments you play and the more competitive it gets, the more that will become relevant. Would you say?
I would say.
Well, cool. I really like that.
Yeah,
Fraying Sanity is sweet and a card that I hope I get to play with some this next standard
environment.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. Okay, guys, I'm sleepy. Why would that be?
I don't know, Will. Why would that be?
I just finished fighting my way through a 4-round slugfest, an Hour of Devastation. It was a slugfest. Those games are good. So yeah, it is pre-release weekend, and I got this sweet box I want to show off real quick. Boop! It pops up.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And there were all my packs. My D20 was right there. I'm gonna put it down. All right, good. Yeah, pre-release was yesterday for me, very early yesterday, and I had just a great time. Kev was unable to go, unfortunately.
I was unfortunately unable to attend, but that's okay.
It's fine. There will be many more releases.
I plan on drafting this a lot more than doing sealed stuff.
Yeah, and that's probably fine. This one's loads of fun though. So
I'm really enjoying this box, by the way.
Isn't that neat?
The fact that this pops up so easily is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I dig it.
on.
I dig it. Okay. Pardon me. So, pre-release happened. And it is a sealed event, which if you don't know, I'll just kind of go over what the environment looks like real quick. So you sit down at your table, you get this box. Under no circumstances are you allowed to open this box until the judge said so, because apparently that gives you an advantage.
Sure, more planning time,
I guess.
Maybe.
But as soon as you do, you rip open your packs, and from there you try to make the best 40-card deck that you can, not forgetting basic lands. That's important.
That is important.
Do not forget that you have to put basic lands in there. You don't need to bring them. Usually the LGS will provide them. Nice. It's not always a bad idea to have them on hand just in case.
Yeah.
But they will provide them. So really 23 cards, 22 to 24, I'd say is where you're going.
It depends what kind of deck you're running, but normally it's 17 lands, 23.
Yeah, generally. I'd say that's most common.
Yeah.
And then you play just a 4-round tournament, best of 3 each match.
Yep.
For some packs. That's it.
And how did the tournament go for you?
Not good. No, went 1-3.
Yeah.
1-3, everybody.
That one win in there.
Woo!
You went to game 3 almost every time, right?
Every time.
Yeah. Well, that's not bad then.
No, and every game was like punchy and grindy, and man, it came down to top decks twice, I think. Different games 2 times. Mm-hmm. I won one because I top decked the burn I needed. He won one because he top decked like a haste dude sack effect. He made me get rid of some guys and then he could swing in.
We'll talk about some of the highlight cards that you opened.
Oh boy. So the ones that ended up making it into my deck, I pulled an Hour of Devastation. Which is neat. I don't think it's gonna get played much in standard unless it's in a control deck. Where is it? I put it somewhere, apparently. But it is 3 colorless, 2 red that says it deals 5 damage to each creature and non-bolus planeswalker. They also lose indestructible. So
pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Solid. For 5, that's a fantastic sweeper.
Yeah.
With red sweepers being contingent on damage.
Yeah. What other cards did you get? What other interesting ones? Yes.
That one.
Invocation.
In my second pack.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
You've actually really opened 2 invocations recently.
I have. Yeah,
this is pretty awesome.
This one and something about evil. I don't remember what. It's a tutor, and I can't remember the name. Diabolic Edict. And the thing about sealed, buddy, every single card you open, including the promo, is playable.
Yep.
Boop. I played that.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. 1 colorless, 1 black. Target player sacks a creature.
It's worth noting this gets around indestructible, hexproof, basically anything except Shroud, I think, which isn't a thing in this format anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So literally this gets around everything. That's just almost unconditional removal is pretty great.
Yeah, it's very nice. This card I played in most games, and everyone was like, ugh. Thanks, man. Because Edict's from the days when spells were really, really good, and this is really good.
Long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
plane far, far away.
So overall, you went 1-3.
I did. But
you won a game, but you did get 3 games out of each round, which is pretty awesome.
Fun.
Did you have fun? Did you like the format?
I had a great time. The format was enjoyable. Sealed and draft are usually more balanced. I'd say draft is probably the purest.
I think so.
But sealed was this was very fun. I ended up playing a Rakdos color deck.
Mm-hmm.
I wish my curve was lower to the ground. That would have helped me so much more. But that being said, it put up a fight.
Yeah.
Futile though it may be. It was enjoyable. So I did learn some things. I learned some things about the set. I changed my mind about a few things that I said during the Friday show.
And those are?
Well, first there was plenty of removal in the set. I said there's not great removal. Yeah, there is. There's plenty. Don't worry about it. The card that really caught my eye, besides Splendid Agony, which I've said isn't great, and I was wrong.
Told you.
It's still not great. It's good.
It's pretty good.
It's just good. It is. It's just good. It's 2 -1/-1 counters, which is nice. It kills a bunch of things. It shrinks some things, but if it's just shrinking it and they've got an effect I'm worried about, I don't get it.
Okay, that's fair.
It's okay. It's okay. You know what a better one is? Tormented Venom.
Yeah, that card seems awesome.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
For 4 mana, put 3. Boom. Already kills way more things. Counters on target creature. Its controller loses 3 life unless he or she sacks another non-land permanent or discards a card.
Yeah.
So you are getting a 2-for-1 in most scenarios. Or a bolt to the face.
Which is just great. And for only 1 more mana than Splendid Agony, which is very good.
No. Splendid Agony is okay.
No, I'm saying the Torment is
that's
good.
what you're saying. Yes. Yeah, that was fine.
It's pretty awesome.
And there's cards that I play like Puncturing Blow. Sorcery Speed make it not great, but it deals 5 damage to target creature. Then you can exile it when it dies, which is good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for our Embalm stuff. There's a guy who kept bringing things back. Gift to the God Pharaoh is exceptional. Let me just say, it's an artifact for 7 that says exile target creature card in your graveyard, becomes a 4/4 zombie. In addition to its other types, it has haste. Like,
it's free Embalm.
Yeah, that late game, at the beginning of your combat.
Yeah.
As well, so.
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
That was a pain.
That's a killer.
I lost 2 matches because they resolved that.
Yeah.
And I have no way to deal with artifacts. And then their guys got bigger, and I saw them twice, and it was not good. Not a good time. So, yeah. That card is exceptional.
Yeah.
And it's a promo.
Is it?
Now. It is.
Oh,
yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It is. It's fun.
Well, good. Overall, so you think it was a good experience. Do you think this is better for sealed or draft?
I would probably rather draft this, but
okay. I'm excited to draft it because it does look good for draft, I think. I think it's a little... Sealed is always like hit or miss for me.
Well, especially with smaller sets.
Yeah.
You know, we had 2 Amonkhet packs, Pull the Tread Wanderer, too. That's a rare that made it in. So with the 2 Amonkhet packs, you kind of have to supplement Hour because it's smaller. Which doesn't feel as good, you know, when you're making a limited kind of thing.
Which is part of the reason they're getting rid of small sets.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it makes sense,
year, so.
right? That it seeks to solve that problem.
Yeah.
But even still, I think drafting this will be fine.
Cool.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
Well, what we thought we would do in light of the pre-release is go into just very quickly. I know how to speak sometimes. Very quickly go over basically what you think about when you're building a sealed deck. What are the important notes? Things like removal. What's your creatures look like? You know, what do your creatures look like? Things like that. Spells, kinds of decks that you might want to put together. Things like tempo, aggro, control, and the key pieces to those. So why don't you start us off with some removal?
Sure. So the Mac Daddy, most important thing to think about, in my opinion, and maybe yours, would be removal.
Yeah.
Removal is king in this kind of format. When your games will go on longer, you need to be able to pull something to get rid of a scary guy, a scary threat, of which there are plenty.
Yeah.
So if you have pulled solid removal, it might be worth it. If your game plan going in is you want to play a blue-green something, but you pull 2 Tormenta Venoms, we'll say, that to me is consideration enough to maybe switch up your game plan.
Yeah.
Of course, it's all dependent on what's inside your packs, but removal can sway, my opinion at least.
And I also think what's important to think about when you are looking at removal is different kinds of removal, because you're going to be dealing with different kinds of threats. So for instance, if you draw a card like Murder, destroy target creature, that's good against a lot of things, but not good against Indestructible. And in light of that, maybe you want to get some -1/-1 counters or an exile effect or something like that in there. So like in this set, I believe it's final reward 4 and a black, exile target creature in Amonkhet.
4 and a black?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's it.
That you wouldn't want tons of those just because it's too expensive, but having 1 of those in your deck maybe in a sealed event or in a draft setting or something like that, that gives you outs, right?
Sure.
And that's all that the draft and the sealed format sort of focus on, is having those outs and then being able to get to your win condition. And so I agree with you. I think removal is probably one of the most important things when looking at a sealed and draft format. I think if you don't have removal, you're in a really bad spot.
Yeah.
Interaction with your opponent is important.
Yes, especially when that is deleting their board. That's nice. So some considerations for removal. That was a great point.
Yeah.
Cost is another big one, and you mentioned that. Removal for, like, there's plenty of burn things for 5 mana, burn a guy.
Yeah.
For 3 or 4, whatever it is. Cards like that circulate all the time. There was in Amonkhet the deal 7 damage for 5.
Deem worthy.
Yeah. Which is that is probably gonna get rid of something.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like overkill most likely.
Yes. And for that price, I'd rather. And I've played a card I'll talk about. That name escapes me. I played one for 6 that deals 6 to face. So my thing is I would rather deal that damage to someone's face for that cost.
And I think that's an important thing when looking at like Amonkhet, for instance.
That's it.
Yeah. When looking at Amonkhet as a set, for instance, there's Shock and then there's also Magma Jet.
Yep.
As considerations to look at, and that the difference between them, Magma Jet, they both cost the same, but Magma Jet deals 2 to a creature and you exile it if it dies. Shock deals 2 either to a creature or to an opposing player. Mm-hmm. And so I think in a constructed environment, you would look at something like Magma Jet a little more highly. Sure. But in a draft format, I think you want the Shock a little more. Solely because you can deal that damage to the face, so it gives you that out to Reach just slam important. For 2.
Reach
you know
what
I mean?
Yes.
And I think that's where, having those outs to different ways of dealing damage or removing creatures or just dealing damage to the face, something like that. Mm-hmm. Those are all very important things to think about. Just having a variety of kinds, I would say.
Yeah.
How many removal spells would you say?
So, with it being creature heavy, you've got really 23 cards to play with. I don't think it's too many to say you have 4 or 5 removal spells.
I think 5 is sort of, again, it depends a little bit on the format and what you open, obviously, in a sealed environment especially. But I think the 4 mark is really solid. I think 5, if you're really worried about creatures, is a thing.
You should be.
And you should be, yeah. I mean, and we'll talk about creatures next, but I mean, you really do need some good removals and a variety of it.
So, and it's always nice if you're playing more to be able to get reach out of it. So target creature players. To your
with
point.
Burn stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Moving on to creatures. In a sealed or draft experience, you can generally count on sort of a half creature, half spell deck. Sometimes it's more creatures, I would say. More often than not, it's more creatures than spells.
I don't think it's ever half.
I actually do think it is. I think it depends on the deck, but I think it usually is.
I don't know.
Yours was very creature heavy.
Yeah,
in my
this
opinion.
one was.
But normally, you've got 23 cards to work with.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion is normally it's like 13 creatures, 10 spells. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And I say half, but I know it's a little over as far as creatures go, but it's pretty close. And I think it depends on the kind of deck. So, for instance, if you're doing a tempo deck, you would probably have a lot more spells than just creatures, because you're going to get things like unsummon, things like that.
You would still hope for more low-cost creatures and then some high-end creatures, kind of to round it out.
Okay.
You always want more permanents in limited.
I'm just saying.
Always.
Okay.
You win and lose on the board, and I lost every game on the board. The games I won on the board. Except for top decking your furniture.
I was gonna say, yeah.
No, there's, but again, he's one of, and reach is nice.
Yeah.
But creatures will win or lose the game.
It's definitely a creature heavy environment for sure. There's no way around that.
No, of course not. So,
and your bomb is important for sure.
Your bomb is bomb and bombs in general. gonna get you to the place. So a bomb in limited or sealed, any big fat dude that comes down and wrecks house, that could be as simple as a 6/5 vanilla, but 6 damage. Ooh,
that's a lot. And that's why you look at cards like in a draft instance. Again, I keep going back to Amonkhet because I know it better, but Colossopede, 5/5,
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Like, that's a solid 5/5. Like, it doesn't do anything but attack, but that's what you need it to do, right?
Exactly.
Like, and you wouldn't want a deck full of them, but having one as an out is not a bad thing.
Yeah, and it's never. That's the thing you're building to, kind of just to hope you get it.
Yeah.
And the sooner you can resolve it, the better.
Yeah.
And that's where again removal comes into play. Is if they've got their bomb on field, but you draw a murderous cut or something.
Mm-hmm.
just get rid of it.
Get rid of it, yeah. And that's what you're wanting to hit with your removal. You don't want to be hitting the smaller creatures as much because, as you said, you can just hopefully outpower them or outclass them on the board with your creatures. So, and that's exactly right. I do think in that instance, creatures are more important. But, yeah, I think having...
It's fine.
I think it depends on the deck. I mean, if you're
drafting... What deck can you build in draft that is...
A control deck.
You don't draft a control deck.
Some people do.
And lose. Yeah, control is generally the weakest.
Control is generally limited. Weaker, yeah.
And it's not impossible, but it's exceptionally hard to draft a control deck.
You have to have a very solid draft to make that happen.
Yes.
I do think, though, that there are tempo decks, that still play more creatures than a constructed tempo deck. But I do think in tempo decks, it becomes a lot more even on the creatures to spells ratio.
You want to know the most important thing in a tempo deck?
What's that?
Death touch.
Yeah. Yes.
Death touch is the best.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because with death touch, they've got a choice. All right, I can attack into this guy and lose a creature. We'll trade, but now that's gone. Or I could use removal to get rid of this thing. But either way, that death touch creature is doing its job.
Yeah.
Because it's never going to be an 8/8 with death touch that blah, blah, blah. No, it's just a 1/1 rat. He's got death touch.
Typhoid rats.
Exactly. I'm playing one in here. Heck, all he is meant to do is trade for a spell.
Yeah.
Whether that spell is a creature on the board
because they have to deal with it. Like, there's no way around it.
Ruin rat.
There you go.
It's exceptional. It's a 1/1 rat with death touch. When he dies, exile a card from target opponent's graveyard.
Hit a Eternalized guy?
Yeah. Done.
Is that the mechanic, Eternalized?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's it. So if you open a few creatures with death touch, you have an avenue for tempo and stuff like that.
And it also is pseudo removal. You don't consider it removal, but it's pseudo removal, and that if you do play it late game and they don't have a removal spell, they have a Colossopede, you have a rat.
Yep.
That trades.
Exactly.
I mean, you don't count on that. I'm not saying, but
sure.
But that could happen. That is a thing that happens pretty regularly.
Definitely is.
So it does give you outs to some just big stompy guys, I think. It also gives you an out to hexproof, which I think is really important. Hexproof is like probably the best mechanic in Limited, I would say. Overall, the best.
It might be.
Like, Death Touch is more relevant more often, but I think Hexproof is
You can have a conversation about a lot of...
Yeah.
Like, flying is really good.
Flying is very good. But it's so prevalent that usually you have an out to it. Not always.
Honestly, yeah. Sometimes you really don't. Sometimes
but there's like... For instance, in green, you've got Spidery Grasp or whatever, which there's like combat tricks around it, and you could also have just drafted flying guys. Like, that is a thing.
Yeah.
Hexproof, I think there's like one good Hexproof in Amonkhet. I don't know about Hour.
There's the hippo, right?
The giant behemoth guy.
Oh, yeah, the scale behemoth.
Yeah.
I think Hour has one.
Like, there's usually only one or two a set.
Yeah.
And they're like uncommon, so you're not going to see them very often. And if you do see them, you probably want them. Like,
yeah, it is really. Yeah.
They're a solid win condition because they're very difficult to interact with.
Yeah, they are sturdy.
Death Touch helps.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sure does. Diabolic Edict also helps.
That's true.
Weird. Yes.
Yeah, I would
really
probably be on the side of Hexproof being the most important, but that's a whole other conversation for another day.
Sure.
We do want to talk very quickly also about mana curve. Because that's a very important thing when looking at a sealed deck, really any deck, whether it's constructed or, a sealed thing. But you have to look at your mana curve. You can't just put all 1-drops and think, okay, I'm going to win this game.
Right.
You can't put all 5-drops and think, well, I'm going to get to 5, so it'll be okay.
Right.
That doesn't work.
You get outpaced. So
exactly.
There's a great spread that most people try to stick to. It's 1 to 3 turn 1 plays. Like, what is it? 4 to 5 turn 2 plays. 3 turn 3. I don't remember the curve exactly. But the spike goes woo. Right? So turns 3, 4, and 5 are generally what you want most of your things to be in.
Yeah.
Turns 1 and 2 are really meant to like provide a stable board state for you.
You just need to get to those later turns.
Right.
And so the earlier turns are spent mostly either interacting with an opponent or having the removal or just having an easy, cheap creature to get something out there.
Now, if you're putting a spell that costs 2, like Winds of Rebuke or Unsummon...
You don't expect to play that on the turn 1 or turn 2. You consider that more of a later game play, I would say.
Right. And then, to Kevin's point, you don't also want, 4 spells that cost 6.
No.
That might be too many.
That would be bad. But you do want to have those bombs in that top end. I mean, that's... Bombs, as you've said, is basically the way you win the game. That's the most important thing in a sealed.
You're kind of leaning on that card to to get you to the win.
Absolutely.
So it needs to be a good one.
Hexproof.
Yeah, and these are things that I wish I remembered, wish I'd thought about. I was just so excited. I was opening stuff left and right.
Where was the peak of your curve? Where were the most cards?
4.
4. That seems fine though.
I mean, yeah, and again, these were really close, punchy games.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4, and I had a few in 5. But those were stocky creatures that were able to trade with a lot of things, like the Frontline Devastator is a 3/3 with a flick 2.
Yeah.
And with fire breathing, so I figured, at the very least, if I can kill a little guy if he chump blocks.
Yeah.
And he'll still deal 2. If he blocks me with a big guy, I could pump him and maybe trade.
Yeah.
So he seemed like a good
solid guy. Yeah, for sure. Would you say he was?
I think he was. Yeah, he was good. I still wish I had gotten a few maybe Fire Fist Minotaurs, whatever they're called. 2/1 first strike.
Yeah.
Fire Fist, something.
You had one, right?
Yes, I had one, and he did work. work. Burning Fist Minotaur.
Okay, yeah.
He's
super good.
First strike actually might be. It's not the most important, but it's one of the strongest.
It provides you with outs just in combat, which is so important. Wow,
it's important.
It's important.
It's important.
But as you talked about, the game is decided more on the board, and so first strike being very prevalent on the board.
Your guy sticks
just
around.
Makes more sense.
Yeah, it beats Death Touch. Hey.
It does. That does get around Death Touch. That's a good point. Yeah. Way to be there.
Blaine. Yeah. So, what was it talking about, Kevin?
Mana curve.
We
got way off the mana curve there.
Mana curve.
Good stuff.
Don't remember what I was going to say.
No, but it is important to sort of follow that sort of arch. Less of the early game plays, less of the late game plays, a lot of the mid game. And generally that's what you want to stick to.
Sure.
Again, it varies on the deck a little bit, but I think in limited that's what you stick to. I don't think there's too much variance there. So yeah, important stuff to think about. Cool. And this isn't to give you necessarily a hard template of a sealed deck or a draft deck or anything like that, but it is just give you some thinking points when you are drafting or when you're making your sealed deck. You want the removal, you want a lot of creatures, you want to win on the board. And you do want that curve. Those are all just things you should be thinking about if you are not already.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, awesome.
It was awesome.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about as far as pre-release, sealed, limited in general?
I had a great time. Really,
I'm glad you had a good time. I wish I could have been there. It sounded fun.
Yeah, loads of fun. I just go out and try it. And try some drafting.
Yeah,
drafting's cool.
Drafting is a lot of fun. I've grown to really like drafting. It's not a secret that I kind of hate standard. I've talked about that a lot, but drafting is, no matter what set you're in, I think is a fun thing to do. And I actually really loved drafting Amonkhet. It got a little stale after a while just because it's repeated stuff, but that happens with most sets, right? You expect that. But in the beginning, it was great. I loved it. We drafted a few times together, which was fun. And I'm excited to draft Hours. I think it's going to be a great draft set. I also think Constructed, this might be the set that gets me back into Standard a little bit.
Oh, you think so?
Just because Grixis Control is going to be a thing.
Probably.
And I'm so excited for Grixis Control.
It probably will be.
I like control decks.
Yeah.
I'm not that player, but that's okay.
My buddy pulled Nicol Bolas, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, Paul. Do you remember Paul?
Do I remember?
I don't know if you met Paul.
I don't think I met Paul.
Yeah, Paul's great. Paul Dover.
How many times can we say Paul?
Paul.
Good for him, though. Did he play it?
No, he pulled it after. After he packed out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. What did he play, just out of curiosity? Do you know?
I don't think I saw his deck.
Question.
Answer.
What do you think, having only played it once, what do you think is probably the strongest limited archetype? Color-wise, just color combo.
Oh, that's tricky. Because so much depends on that color's archetypes, what that player pulled for it.
Sure.
Because you can have two very different Rakdos decks.
Yeah.
For instance, my friend Tyler played a Rakdos deck that was very low to the ground. Mine was not. I don't know. I would have to think probably which ones have better answers for the board.
Yeah.
And still provide good threats. Because a blue tempo deck, blue-white, has answers for the board. Albeit some of them are temporary, but...
Yeah, answers, it's more like unsummoned stuff.
Sure. Answers nonetheless. But their threats are usually outclassed. Unless they've got flying, then reaches...
Yeah, evasion.
Then they can just attack for free. I don't know. Maybe black-green.
Black-green generally seems to be a strong archetype. Just because black gives you the removal and green gives you the big stompy guys. And that's exactly what you want.
And ramp as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So black-green seems really solid. I pulled none of the ramp, which was a bummer. It's so tricky. Yeah. I don't know if I could decide right now. Rakdos for me has always been pretty strong.
Rakdos is generally, it's just low to the ground aggro stuff.
Exactly.
Usually.
Exactly. And I'm very comfortable playing a punchy, swingy, I don't care about blocking deck.
Yeah.
So it seemed like a natural progression for me to move there. But black-green might be, I don't know. I don't think
Don't know yet. That's okay. I'm just wondering if you have an opinion on it quite yet. I mean, you've only sealed once, so there's not a definite answer. I don't think usually anyway, but there tends to be some that rise a little higher above some of the others, and that's what I was, I guess, wondering. But all right, we will get back to that then at some point as we draft this and as we learn the set a little bit more. It does seem like a great set. Again, we encourage everybody to go out, draft it, play a sealed game, see how you like it. If you're not playing constructed standard, this might be the set to move in on. I don't know for sure, but I think so.
It's smaller. So it feels good, but not great.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
That's fair. I do think the power level of cards in this set, though, is absolutely insane.
That's Torment of Hailfire is a great example.
Yeah. It's so good. The gods are great.
Someone tormented me. And let me tell you, it feels awful. Because the thought you think is, all right, how much can I lose and still be in this game? Like things and life. And neither answer feels good. Keep my board, pitch my hand, and lose everything. Lose like 19 life. Or I pitch some things and not everything. So, the card is so freaking good. That card is so broken. I think you could even make an argument for like bug ramp with Torment being your win.
You think so?
Where you just tempo control the board, make sure they can't.
I kind of like that idea.
They can't beat you before you can just generate a bunch of mana and torment for 18 or something stupid.
That seems kind of awesome.
I don't know.
I want to make that now. Instead of Grixis.
It could be.
Maybe that's the way to go. Anyway, power level is insane in this set, guys. It's so good. So we encourage you to check it out. But with that, we're going to move off of our main content. We do want to mention very briefly, we do have a new schedule. The whole thing is being switched up. We're going to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday still being Deck Tech.
Yep.
Wednesday being the standard limited from now on. And then Friday will be our filler fun day. Where we do our Kiki-Weekly and all that stuff and just sort of talk about whatever we want. We're doing away with the Thursday episode for now. We're sort of tying it into the Friday episode, though. Yes. So if we do have things to talk about, we'll pull it in there. It's not going away for good.
Yeah, and it won't feel bad missing Commander.
Yeah. But honestly, this just gives us a little more time to get these episodes out, which has been a bit of a struggle with that Thursday episode in there. And it also helps us hopefully provide just higher quality content, more focus, so we're not scrambling for topics or anything like that.
True.
And we have a little more time to research the topics that we do want to talk about. I also do want to mention we have our 500 follower giveaway going on Instagram.
It's packed already. Get in there.
So thank you guys, because we started at
really
like
cool.
507 followers were when we actually released the giveaway. That's how many we had. We are at like, after a few days, at like 670 or something like that. Like, we've almost gained 200. Like,
yeah.
You guys are awesome.
I was like, yeah, we'll do one for 700. We might have to wait.
Yeah, it's going very quickly. We've already got almost 70 spots, 70 entries taken up. And again, there's only one winner. So if you want to get in, hurry up, get in. The winner will be selected on the 20th of July. So got 11 days, I believe. I believe today's the 9th.
Yes.
So we have 11 days to go until we pick our winner. Hopefully it's you.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right. With that out of the way, Kev.
Yes.
Final segment time.
Yes.
Crack a Pack, as always, sponsored by our friendly neighborhood Grand Slam.
Friendly neighborhood.
Yeah, comics and collectibles, because they are friendly and right in our neighborhood.
That's true.
In South Carolina, Rock Hill, South Carolina.
They've really been helping us out with a lot of stuff and providing these packs, as well as hopefully some future giveaways and some future content.
I'm just never going to see that combat stuff.
No, you're really not. But we really do appreciate all of their help. We encourage you guys to check them out. I know they're working on setting up their online store as we speak, so hopefully it's in progress. But what'd you get?
So Sandworm Convergence. I'm never going to see my gold card.
You take that card, though.
Yes. Yep.
As always, we like to talk about our limited environment. What cards would we take? Things like that. And yeah, you take Sandworm.
Sandworm Convergence is both a bomb and a removal for flying.
Yeah.
So for 2 green and 6 colorless, creatures with flying can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of your end step, create a 5/5 worm creature token.
Seems good.
So there's your Colossopede. There's your removal for flyers.
Yeah, it's awesome.
If this weren't here, if I got like that weird thing that makes brick counters, Aven Wind Guide is exceptional.
True.
I also got Cartouche of Strength, which removal.
Yeah.
Boom. Aven Wind Guide has Flying and Vigilance and gives tokens you control Flying and Vigilance. It's a 2/3 for 4.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really solid.
Yeah.
He can also Embalm for 6. With Embalm and Eternalize, you just want to give something, I don't know, that's already got First Strike, Flying and Vigilance.
Why not?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure. Just throw it in there.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like that. Yes, please. Please. Okay, but no, Sandworm Convergence every time.
That's the pick.
All day, every day.
I got a really freaking good pack.
Talk at me.
So I don't have a gold card because I got my gold card. But I did get Glyph Keeper, which is a fairly solid blue bomb. 3 and 2 blue for a 5/3 flying. When it becomes the target of a spell or an ability, the first time each turn you can counter that spell or ability. Mm-hmm. It also has for 5 and 2 blue Embalm, so you get to replay it. To be honest though, I've actually been under-impressed with this card. We ran it in a draft deck, like you and I did at one point, and it was fine, but it didn't feel good, honestly.
Okay.
But I do think it's actually really good. I think we just were not playing to its strengths maybe as well. I also got a foil, Reduced to Rubble.
Oh, I love that card.
I do like this card. I don't know if I'd pick it in Limited, though.
It's a really good tempo swing.
Yeah.
To be able to counter something.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
But I also did get Trial of Knowledge, Enigma Drake, Trial of Ambition, 3 of the cartouches, the red, white, and blue cartouches. Go America.
How many times has that happened? I think 2.
I don't know. Yeah, it's not been too many.
on camera.
A number of other filler things, Splendid Agony, Hieroglyphic Illumination, both of which are not first pickable. Man.
Yeah, that's a really...
This is a pretty good pack, though. I think the correct pick is probably Glyph Keeper.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Trial of Knowledge is very good. Being able to draw 3 is great, and potentially repeat that effect is good. Mm-hmm. I think Enigma Drake is amazing, but it's a build-around card. Whereas Glyph Keeper just goes in a blue deck. And Trial of Ambition's great. Again, this sacks, so it does get around hexproof, things like that, and indestructible, which is great.
Yeah,
I think.
I definitely did.
I wouldn't pick Reduced to Rubble first, so I think Glyph Keeper is the pick for me as well.
Yeah.
Rares for the win.
Honestly. Yeah, I'd probably also as well pick the Glyph Keeper.
Yeah. I mean, it's a solid card, I think. It gets around removal pretty well.
I do like the other Sphinx more, but he's good. And it counters abilities, which is important.
Which is very important. But yeah. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you for bringing us some pre-release information.
Next time, I'll 4-0.
You got this. And next time, I might go.
I swear I will. This is my promise. My quest. I don't fucking know. Yeah.
Again, guys, we are redoing our schedule, so stay tuned for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday episodes from here on out. We also have other content, things like Road to 100 Wins, hosted by Alex. He streams that throughout the week, and then we also post it over on YouTube, so feel free to check that out. It's very fun to watch.
Please do.
For sure.
He's an entertaining
And if he doesn't win, we get to do something terrible to him.
We've not decided yet. I don't even know if he knows.
Yet. Oh, he knows. I talked to him about it.
Perfect.
I hung out with him on stream while he was streaming the 3rd episode, I believe.
So did he win?
He won one game finally. He was like 0-4, and then he finally won a game.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's gonna lose.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
We bought Nerf guns the other day, so maybe we'll shoot him with Nerf guns. They're not like low-powered Nerf guns either. They're like...
I don't want to hurt the guy.
I mean, the balls are soft. Moving on. All right, guys.
This has been...
I can't believe I said that. I'm so happy.
It Resolves.
My name is Kevin.
My name is Will.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. This has been It Resolves.
Till tomorrow.